Time is of the essence for Jaron Boots Ennis to seal the deal and make his next fight. The sides have until August 30th to make a deal, or a purse bid will then be scheduled. Until the purse bid is set, Jaron Ennis could bypass the mandatory bout if he lands a unification fight, which is allowable under the IBF's rules. That would mean facing Mario Barrios, who holds the WBC, Amantis Stanionis, the WBA guy, or the WBO's Brian Norman, who just recently got elevated. That means Eddie Hearn is under the gun to finalize a unification, the fight, in order to get away from an unappealing Karen rematch for Jaron Boots Ennis. The window for the IBF to okay a unification fight ahead of the mandatory expires once the free negotiation period closes, which is on August 30th. At that point, the IBF orders the Jaron Ennis versus Karen Chukhadzin purse bid, assuming the sides have not made a deal. To that end, Eddie Hearn said he has made a substantial offer to PBC and TGB Promotions for Mario Barrios and Stanionis. However, they were rejected as not being remotely close to the financial expectations. A source with knowledge of the offer said Eddie Hearn's definition of, quote, substantial was nowhere close to anything acceptable. Boom. You never know. Hearn is in a similar situation in his offer made this week to Top Rank for Brian Norman. Not remotely enough money to actually make that fight. A source with knowledge of that offer told Fight Freaks United, Top Rank and Brian Norman are still waiting to make the fight. If the offer is more in the realm of their expectations, the sources said, if Brian Norman does not face Ennis, Top Rank will schedule him for his first defense this fall, possibly November 8th. See section below. And Jaron Ennis would be stuck facing Karen Chukhadzin again. You never know. So it's time is of the essence for Jaron Boots Ennis. Will he get a meaningful fight? If not, he's gonna likely fight against the Karen guy yet again. I've already stated my opinion. The Karen fight is awful. I do not want to see it. I will put the link in the description of the article I just read from Dan Raphael. But the Boots versus Karen fight is literally atrocious. And once again, Boxing Ego gets something else right. The day it got announced that Jaron Ennis was teaming up with Eddie Hearn, your boy Ego, I don't mince my words. I don't pull no punches. I give it to you raw. And I said I had certain questions with that marriage and that partnership. Because, for one, welterweight is not a cracking division right now. Normally is, but right now it's not. Quality guys like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Virgil Ortiz, Danny Garcia's, all of them have virtually moved up and out. You can't bank on Keith one-time Thurman. I don't know where he's at. You know, he was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu at 54 or close to it at a catchweight, and he's been MIA. So you can't really bank on that because, to be honest, Keith Thurman, Jaron Ennis would be a good fight with two names, but not under the current circumstance anyway, because when is the last time Keith Thurman's even fought? I really don't even know his last fight, Mario Barrios, so it's too unreliable to bank off that. Jaron Ennis is a young, strong kid, you know what I mean, on his way up. He needs compelling matches for people at this point to be excited. It is what it is. And I always question, could Eddie Hearn deliver that for him? This is not like Anthony Joshua, and then you have a lot of UK heavyweights or heavyweight fights you can make or whatever. This is Jaron Ennis, an American talent with a load of skills who was doing just fine on Showtime. And I've always questioned that. And again, I'm not going to lie on my channel to appease anybody. And now you guys can understand why I had concerns about Boots going over there. Because if you look at it, if he doesn't fight a unification, and he does fight Karen Chukadzin or whatever, it's a regression. When he fought Roman Villa, that was a scintillating fight on Showtime on a PBC card. That was a fun fight. As far as I'm concerned, it's a step back for Jaron Ennis to not get any big names, right? And fight a guy he's already beat 120 to 108. That becomes a rough sell. And this is what you guys told me. You said, oh, Ego, you're hating. Give it a chance. Eddie Hearn, oh, DAZN, they got a plan. They're going to keep Jaron Ennis busy. Being busy is fine, but I'm a quality over quantity type of person. And I've been that way since a kid. Like, would you rather go to, like, let's say a buffet? It's all you can eat, but the food is disgusting. But you can get as many plates as you want. I don't want to get as many plates as I want of food that is not appetizing. But then you go to a tapas bar or you go to a steakhouse, it's more expensive, but the quality is there. Give me a nice steak, some veggies, some sides. I'm in heaven. But I don't care about a buffet if the buffet is not hitting. See, that's the difference. Y'all cheap. A lot of y'all cheap. Y'all want to go to Golden Corral just because it's cheap and act like that's the best food. If you had some of the food that I've tried, I don't care about the price, within reason. I'm not Jay-Z or something. But at the same time, I always care about quality more than quantity. Like, for example, this maybe it's just me. I don't know. But there's certain places I do not buy like poultry or meat from. Like I shop, let's say like a cheap grocery store. I go to the grocery store maybe for like Pop-Tarts or other canned things and things that are in a box, like some cereal or something like that. I don't even really eat cereal, but you guys get it. But there's certain things I'm not buying from those cheaper grocery stores. Like I would never buy my seafood and salmon from there. I would never buy ground beef or a steak from there. Because I don't know about y'all, but I like me a nice steak, and I can definitely taste the quality difference from the more respected grocers, and they have like organic and grass-fed, grass-finished beef versus some that's cheaper, but the quality is not there. So I like the type of person I am, if I can't have my way, I'd rather not have it. I don't even want steak. I don't settle. And you guys know that about me on my channel. I don't settle. There's no reason to. So Jaron Ennis and Karen, that's definitely settling. And here's the kicker to it. Jaron Ennis, let's say he gets Brian Norman. It's a good fight for hardcores, it's a good fight for hardcores, but to do all this and have to overpay this guy and they don't like your offers, but you don't have any rights to those fighters because they're on PBC or on Top Rank. Now you got to overpay them or pay them more because they want to get paid. I got to fight in Philly. I got to fight on the Ops Network. I got to fight a good fighter. You got to pay like you weigh. So it's insane if you really think about it that Eddie Hearn and DAZN, they're having to do all this. And in the Brian Norman fight, I'm not trying to dog it because trust me, I would much rather prefer that than the Karen rematch. I think it's a good fight. Brian Norman follows me. I've been following his career. I've been a fan of Jaron Ennis' career, but he's a brand new champion that just got elevated, and so is Jaron Ennis. So it's kind of ironic that you have to do all of this for that level of fight. Like, there's a lot of struggle and a lot of like counter offers and all this stuff just to make a fight that truthfully is not even that big. That's the point I'm making. Jaron Ennis, trust me, I'd rather see Ennis versus Brian Norman for sure. Brian Norman Jr., Jaron Ennis, I think it's a good fight for hardcores. But what I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia type of fight. Or it's not going to generate a live gate that a Canelo fight would generate. Something like that. You know what I mean? So it's not like upper echelon where it just does this crazy money. And Eddie Hearn has to pull, fight, and claw for a fight like that and still might not even get it. And this is what I said. I mapped out the future before it happened. The great ego Stradamus. Now, Jaron Ennis, you're making more per fight than you probably were when you were with Showtime, but that's short term. Showtime, they had several people they could build you with. You could have been on better undercards, yada, yada, yada. Now you're fighting tooth and nail to try to get any type of unification, which I don't believe happens. I believe Jaron Ennis' next fight will be Karen. I've said that from the beginning. I've never changed. I've never wavered. And that's what I believe. So we'll see how it all plays out. But time is of the essence. The purse bid period is on the 30th. And as of me recording this video, it's the 25th. So they got like 4 or 5 days. And today's a Sunday, so it's not even a business day. So you probably got like 4 days to close off a unification. It doesn't look like it's going to be Stanionis or Barrios. So you got to appease Top Rank and get them on board and get Brian Norman, who says he will take the fight, but they're not taking it for peanuts in a unification. So Eddie Hearns, he's going to have to come out of pocket and make it happen, Captain. If not, like BOXINGEGO believes, expect the Karen Chukhadzin fight part 2, which is a god-awful sell. And this is what I fear for Boots' career. And at some point, his team's going to have to make a choice. Do we stay at 47 and chase these lackluster fights and then we can't seal the deal on a lot of these fights? Or do we take some chances here and move up to 54, even for a one-off, fight Israel Madrimov, try to do better than Crawford, put pressure on Crawford. Like, look at what we just did to Madrimov, and you never even dropped him, and we went up and hurt or dropped him or stopped him or however the fight plays out, you know. But I think it's time that Boots' team, they have to really start taking some chances or looking in that direction, because the welterweight division is slim pickings and you only have but a certain amount of options, and Eddie Hearn doesn't hold the cards on the fighters that are needed for the trifecta or for the unifications. Food for thought.